To call Home Depot a pivotal player in the Halloween industry would be a significantly large understatement. Over this past decade, the Home Depot has been a key player in setting the bar for what retail Halloween can do in prices that most homes can afford. But what happens to those items they put years of work into just to never see the light of day? That question has been looming over my head since May of 2024, when something strange surfaced online: a skeleton cowboy on a mule. While this isn't the first time unreleased Home Depot items or even released items early surfaced for sale, something just felt different about this one. And just a few months later, I would be proven correct. And as days went on, I discovered that one cowboy led to one, then two, then three. And that's when I realized what me and my friends had discovered is no one-off prototype. This is a product line that never saw the light of day, lost to the abyss of countless other prototypes. Today, I'm going to show you all the findings of months and months of research, real statements from the people in the scenes, and a mystery that I hope one day can fully be solved. I'm Spooky Guy 444, and this is the Wicked West, Home Depot's lost cowboy product line. But before we do that, I think we need a little exposition on Home Depot and its history with holiday decor.
Escalating out here in the West with one thing leading to another, but I should be able to make pretty short work of this ramified old son of a gun.
While Home Depot as a store chain doesn't really need any sort of introduction, I think it's best that we begin at the origins of their Halloween/holiday decor. In the early 2000s, Home Depot's holiday selection was relatively limited, with scarce information on the lineups readily available online until about 2012. From what we know, it was predominantly the main Gemmy items such as the Posable Reaper, the Illuminated Mummy, and the Cauldron Witch taking up most of their Halloween lineups, and Christmas was majority inflatables and other such things from Gemmy at the time as well. Fast forward to 2014, and a man by the name of Lance Allen would join Home Depot's product development team in the March of that year. Bringing us to another fast forward will take us to December of 2019, when Lance will be moved up to Director of Holiday Decor. Essentially meaning he had a large say in what products Home Depot had for the season, and honestly, you can tell by just what Depot will begin pushing out from 2019 to 2021. Now, I mentioned 2021 because in December of that year, Lance would then move up to Senior Director, putting him at the face of Home Depot's entire holiday operations. With Lance in the lead of this team at Home Depot, they would begin to push retail decor to its absolute limits, with items like the 12-foot skeleton already being well established. Going into 2022, we would see items like the 15-foot Phantom, and even in following years, we'd see items such as Predator of the Night, Lethal Lily, THG 3000, Chucky, Levitating Reaper, and so much more. With all these items at the forefront of the Halloween industry today, what was Home Depot leaving on the cutting room floor during this active industry golden age? For a little bit more additional exposition, we're going to talk about Home Depot's themes, or what's essentially their product lines. While Home Depot themes aren't in the literal sense like Spirit Halloweens or Party Cities displays, they're more like product lines. Some of these lines are set in stone yearly, such as the Grave and Bones collection with all the skeleton and undead items, or they have rotating ones such as 2023's Dead Water collection with items like Predator of the Night and Lethal Lily, or the 2024 Fears Through the Years collection with items such as Chucky and their clown products. While these product lines help stand out Depot against the competition, there's always some that don't quite make the cut. So now, with all of that exposition finally out of the way, we can finally get into what months of research finally brought to us today.
Escalating out here in the West with one thing leading to another, but I should be able to make pretty short work of this ramified old son of a gun.
In March of 2024, an eBay seller would post two items for sale. One of these was what we would soon come to actually know as Home Depot's Victorian vampire, while the other was a skeleton cowboy riding on an undead mule.
Howdy, partner. Haven't seen you around these parts before. Y'all ought to be careful. You never know who's around the corner. Or what?
As time went on, we had seen the remaining items from Home Depot had for the season, and this cowboy never released with everything else to a lot of people's disappointment. Now, normally that would be the end of it, but a few months later in August of that same year, another never before seen animatronic would appear on Facebook Marketplace.
I hear it was Halloween time, so boy, do I have a treat for you. Get a load of this rattler I just caught. Truth is, if I gave him to you.
This item was another cowboy, but this time it held a rattlesnake in one of his hands, having a similar animation to the Victorian vampire. Now, some of my friends and myself asked the seller if they had any other items for sale, and oh man, what you're about to see is two never before seen life sizes from the same seller as that cowboy. Now for some insight. The first one I want to talk about is this oversized rat. It seems to have a swivel head similar to animations like props on Levitating Reaper. The item also has a moving tail and audio from Morris Costumes 2023 Mangy Rat animatronic. While I do understand why something like this wasn't picked up, it is quite a shame as it is a really nice piece. What I don't understand, however, is why this vulture wasn't picked up, as this thing truly is amazing. According to the seller, this thing is almost 4 feet tall, making it larger than a lot of popular props in Home Depot's lineup this year, like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. This isn't where it ends, however, as just a few weeks later, another marketplace listing appeared, and this to me was confirmation that Home Depot had scrapped a true Western product line. These are the Wild West variants of the Pumpkin Twins.
We want your treats, and we don't want any tricks. We've been riding and roping and left our horses in town.
Now these were some of Home Depot's most iconic characters of the decade so far. And seeing that Pan-Asian and seasonal visions both played a part in making Western items, I think it's safe to say something existed in one way or another. Even with items that released the Western theme lived on. Items such as Dean the Deathologist and Mary the Maid fit this lineup perfectly. In addition to that, we have a video of Mary's prototype in action, which I'll play a video of now.
I hear there's a splendid bartender in this establishment. Tell him I sent you. I recommend the Bloody Mary. It's extra bloody.
And to even go deeper, what if Jack of Spades played a part as well? Now, of course, he is designed off a early 20th century mobster and not a cowboy, but considering he was made to be paired with the aforementioned Dean and Mary, what if a cowboy prototype of Jack of Spades exists out in the wild? While I don't have any real tangible proof to back this up, I think it is definitely a plausible theory. So just to recap, here is everything that's been discovered in this Wicked West product line thus far. Dean the Deathologist, Mary the Meddling Maid, maybe Jack of Spades, Rattlesnake Handler, Cowboy Riding on the Mule, Pumpkin Twins, the Vulture, and the Oversized Rat. It's only a matter of time of when or if these release and when or if more of these items actually surface online. I truly do hope for both to happen, as I feel like this is a fantastic piece of Home Depot's history and even shows that items a lot of people would love get put on the cutting room floor. But why were these items scrapped?
Escalating out here in the West with one thing leading to another, but I should be able to make pretty short work of this ramified old son of a gun.
In this segment of the video, I'm going to go over some of my personal theories as to why the Wicked West was scrapped in favor of Fears Through the Years or the Dead Water lineup if it was for 2023. But before we even do that, let's see what Home Depot themselves have to say about this. Yes, we managed to get an official statement from the holiday team. While it isn't much, it does give us some insight. So Home Depot, in quotes, claims that they were some items we were working on. We didn't get them to the point to bring to the market. Probably only 1/2 or 1/3 make it each season. And that's it. But like I said, it's relatively vague, but it's interesting nonetheless, and we do appreciate them willing to give some context to these pieces. But now, for my personal theories. Point number 1, lack of variety. Most of the items were very similar to each other, most obvious between stuff like the Rattlesnake Handler and the Mule Rider literally sharing the same face mold. Fears Through the Years was the lineup that ended up coming out this year, and it just had much more variety in its characters with the theme that it was going for. Cowboy Santa and Mary the Maid had very poor sales. In 2023, Home Depot had a Christmas Cowboy Santa, which very well could have also gone with the Wicked West lineup, even just for the Christmas section. And Mary the Maid and the Pumpkin Twins sold very, very poorly online, potentially halting items to expand the lineup. And in terms of going back on lack of variety, let's look at some of the props that maybe replace them. I think some of these might make some good sense. Snake Handler likely could have been replaced by something like Victorian Vampire. Cowboy on the Mule, probably replaced by Knight Dullahan. The Vulture, probably the Static Raven on a cross. The Oversized Rat, there isn't really like a good one to go off of, but maybe the blow mold animals and such like the dogs. And the Pumpkin Twins were just canceled due to bad sales. They sold really bad in 2023. So with all that out of the way, that's actually not the end of this video, but that is the end of my discussion with Wicked West. I actually want to talk a little bit about some other prototypes that we were able to find while we were doing research. Yes, not only did we find ones relating to this Western lineup, we also found a lot of just never before seen stuff. So I'm actually going to do a rapid fire compilation here at the end of the video just to show you guys some unseen prototypes from Home Depot. Take a look. And that's the end of this video. Thank you guys all for watching The Wicked West, Home Depot's lost product line. Like I said earlier, I really do hope that we see more items surface from this, and I really hope that maybe in the future we can see some of these items get released, because I really do think that this is some of the best work Home Depot has ever done, especially items like the Mule Rider, the Rattlesnake Handler, and the Vulture are just really amazing pieces that I think deserve a second chance. Overall though, it is an incredible lineup, and I'm really happy that me and my friends, which you'll see in the end credits, were able to put something together for you guys. Something special, and it's something that I really hope that will bring more people together. Maybe more items will surface from this. Who knows? We'll see. But with that being said, I'm Spooky Guy 444. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.